Prince Andrew faces £250,000 repairs at aging Royal Lodge to avoid serious structural damage. Prince Andrew has been under increased pressure to vacate Royal Lodge, the £30 million royal residence he occupies with his ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson. The father of Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie has reportedly been asked to leave the property by his brother, King Charles, after neglecting to pay for its £500,000 annual upkeep costs. Photos of the property show the royal residence's paintwork peeling with black mould growing on the exterior. Hello. Spoke exclusively to Terry Fisher of We Buy Any Home, who weighed in on the crumbling property and how much the Duke of York could be facing in restoration costs. Royal Lodge appears to be showing visible signs of aging, including peeling paint, mould on exterior bricks, and likely underlying damp or poor insulation. These issues point to postponed maintenance that could lead to more serious structural damage if not addressed soon, explained Terry. Hello viewers, please remember to subscribe and click on the notifications bell icon, so you will be notified whenever we upload new cookies about the British royal family. The property expert explained that Royal Lodge would likely need urgent repairs including brick repointing, waterproof treatments, repainting, and even structural reinforcement if there is widespread water damage, a project that could cost Prince Andrew upwards of £250,000 due to its need for specialised historical restoration. Prince Andrew's future at Royal Lodge home. One thing could still seal his eviction. Prince Andrew's fall from public favour has been well documented, with his reported determination to stay at his Royal Lodge home in Windsor being the latest bone of contention. In line with King Charles' plans to downsize the monarchy, the Duke of York was offered a move from his mansion to the more compact Frogmore Cottage, recently refurbished by Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Former BBC royal correspondent Jenny Bond previously offered a view on Andrew and the King's dilemma, saying that Andrew should accept his brother's sensible offer and move to a property he can afford. As the row continues to simmer away, Terry Fisher, chief executive of We Buy Any Home, spoke to OK about Andrew's future at Royal Lodge. On whether Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie would ever be able to inherit the home from their father, Terry said, while it's reported that Prince Andrew has a 75-year lease on Royal Lodge, the ability to pass this property to Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie as an inheritance isn't guaranteed. Because Royal Lodge is part of the Crown Estate, the final decision over succession or lease assignment would typically require Crown Estate approval, and possibly the King's assent. If Andrew were to vacate the property, either by choice or by circumstances, the Crown Estate and King Charles could choose to end the lease, assign it to another royal, or even open it up for new arrangements within the royal family. King Charles, as head of the royal household, would have considerable influence in this decision. Although the king doesn't directly control Crown Estate properties, he can certainly play a role in determining which royals reside in them. This means that if Charles has alternative plans for Royal Lodge, he could prevent it from being passed on to Andrew's daughters. Ultimately, any arrangement to extend or alter the lease terms would need to be mutually agreed upon with the Crown Estate and possibly influenced by the King's vision for future royal residences. While Royal Lodge has a rich and fascinating history, much of which is tied to the life of Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, recent pictures highlighted the home's state of disrepair. The upkeep of Royal Lodge, as with any historical property, is extensive and costly, the expert points out. Historic estates demand ongoing repairs, climate control, and specialized care to address inevitable wear, all of which are costly and time-consuming. Without the financial backing previously afforded to working royals, Andrew could find these costs a growing strain. And, as we've seen in recent photos, neglecting issues like damp or structural wear can lead to worsening problems and higher costs down the line. Then, referring to how renegotiations if he fails in its upkeep could seal Andrew's fate, Terry adds, the Crown Estate may expect Royal Lodge to remain in a condition befitting its heritage status, so failing to meet these standards could lead to interventions, possibly even lease renegotiations if the property's preservation comes into question. As for what the future has in store for the royal residence, it is clear that King Charles will have the final say. Given the property's connection to the Crown estate, King Charles could indeed influence whether Royal Lodge passes to Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, Terry explains. While Andrew may wish for his daughters to inherit the lease, the final say over who occupies Crown properties often involves the monarch's guidance or approval. Charles has a strategic view on royal residences, and if his vision doesn't align with Andrew's wishes, he could recommend the Crown estate consider alternative uses or residence. Historically, Crown estate properties like Royal Lodge aren't automatically inherited like privately owned estates. If Charles envisions Royal Lodge serving a different purpose within the family, he could effectively block the transfer by aligning with Crown estate protocols. In this way, while Andrew holds the lease, the ultimate decision-making rests with the Crown estate and the monarchy, making future residency decisions largely dependent on the royal family's needs and vision at the time. Since 2004, Andrew has resided at Royal Lodge on the Windsor estate, which he now shares with his former wife Sarah Ferguson. Before he moved in, it was a much-loved retreat for Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. King George VI's widow made several additions to the property, and it also features a mini cottage or Wendy house called Wyberth in Bark, which was gifted to the late Queen then Princess Elizabeth in 1932. Even after the King died in 1952, it was still used as a grace and favour home by the Queen Mother up until she died there in March 2002, with the late Queen by her side. Following the Queen Mother's death, Royal Lodge was leased to Prince Andrew. Along with the main house, the lease included the gardener's cottage, the chapel lodge, 6 lodge cottages, police security accommodation and a whopping 40 hectares of land. Prince Andrew booted out of Royal Lodge because he didn't take care of the estate. Royal biographer Angela Levin has claimed that Prince Andrew is to be booted out of his home because he is not looking after the building. Speaking to GB News, Levin described Royal Lodge as in a terrible state. The comments come as King Charles is claimed to have cut off Prince Andrew's annual £1 million allowance and withdrawn funding for his private security. Sources claim the decision was made after Andrew refused to vacate the 30-room Royal Lodge in Windsor Great Park, where he resides with ex-wife Sarah Ferguson. Speaking to Nana Akua, Levin said, King Charles did say to Andrew that on the 1st of November he's not going to give him £1 million a month to help him keep going, and he's not paying 7 figures for all the protection officers for him. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like this video and drop comments. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything.